What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You are now watching Kinetic Outcome, and we are with DJ
Gruv.
Gotta get you grooving.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get this started. So a little bit of introduction of yourself,
Yeah.
and next would be your story, like what happened from the beginning. Like you can even talk by the day you were born, if you could remember.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like how'd you get to where you are now?
Well, I don't think you want to hear about the day I was born. I kind of like fell out the bed. But anyway, we won't talk about that. Yeah. So my name is DJ Gruv, Daryl Reynolds, from Baltimore, Maryland, and I've been DJing since I was 13. I wasn't always a DJ, but I was an architectural engineer and I have a master's degree in energy efficient buildings. So it's kind of like cool when, you guys did this program, Kinetic Outcome, is because when I came to Hong Kong, I was working for Hong Kong University and I was doing architecture and solar energy, but I was still DJing on the side. And Hong Kong is very fast paced, so one day the company I was working for wound up and I found myself out of a job, and that's when like Drop had opened in 2000, and Joe Lai was kind enough to invite me for a residency. So since then, like I've been DJing in Hong Kong since 2000 till now, full time. So I was able to make a living from it, and I kind of regret sometimes not going back to architectural engineering or solar energy. But again, as you say, it's all kinetic. So because one door shut, DJing had opened up, and it was like a passion for me. And I was really into it. I really loved to do it. And so then like the kind of regrets, the kind of doubts I had initially when I started, they kind of faded away. And now I just sort of enjoy DJing. Yeah.
I'd probably say, wow, like I didn't know you as much. I would just see him pass by, oh, DJ, what's up, man? It's always like DJ, every corner. And I didn't even know anything about him. This is pretty cool. That's why we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
And that's amazing how you switch from architecture to this.
Yeah.
And how did it feel though, like the challenge at that time, and how long did it take before you had the opportunity to fully DJ?
Well, it was growing pains because obviously like I've been in school for 25 years and just finishing up the master's degree. It was kind of like a devastating blow to me to sort of have to look for other jobs and then try to keep income coming. So I think it took me more than a year. I was waking up every day and I was sort of like not stabbing myself, but I was just really upset with myself for DJing and not going out to look for jobs and what I was trained to do.
Were you part-time at that time before the full-time gig?
Oh, you mean part-time DJing?
That 1 year where you were still like trying to make ends meet.
At the time I was part-time at Drop, and then I was part-time at Home Base, and then I was part-time at Dip, and then I was part-time at Club Aim. So at that time I had 4 different residencies, and I was able to make something very comfortable, because at that time making 20 to 30K in Hong Kong was quite comfortable. It was cool. I mean, nowadays, it's like it's a struggle making 20K. But I mean, no disrespect to people who are making 20K. I'm just saying, in inflation from then
Value
till
of
now.
money.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah.
Man, houses you can rent for like 5.5 before is now 15,000.
Yes.
Big change.
Big banks.
Well, if you were to share a bit of like what was the outcome of the challenge, and at the same time what were the rewards when you reached a point where you're like, oh, okay, I'm okay that these things happen. You talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
But let's get a little more in depth to that.
The challenges, one was that at that time it was it was all analog, and we didn't have CD players. We had the front load CD players. So the first challenge was to make sure you had your vinyl and carrying those vinyls and playing, making sure you had enough to play for 3 or 4 hours. So I mean, that was one challenge. Another challenge was sort of going from daytime work. I would say it's more like a cyclic thing, like your cyclic cycle when you need to be asleep at night and awake during the day. So that was a challenge, kind of like reversing the role. I was DJing. Sometimes I'm like, oh fuck, oh shit, I missed my cue. But I think those were like the major challenges. And then also when I was moving from part-time to full-time in DJing industry, is like there's certain things you have to learn, like how do you drive the crowd, how do you read the crowd, if you mess up a mix, how do you
Pick it back up,
pick
right?
it back up, how do you recover? I mean, there's so many things that that those were major challenges that I've overcome. And then to move on from those challenges, like how it got easier, to answer the second part of your question, it's like after 5 years or so, like it just became like natural. Like I could just pick up any sort of genre of music and just mix it, So I remember one of my friends when I first landed in Hong Kong, '97, this guy called Godwin Lee. So at that time I was working in Chim Dong, Yo-Yo Disco, where Club Big Boss was, sorry. And
Sucks that I missed out.
hey, rush hour, baby. So, yeah, I kind of picked up a lot of tips from Godwin. It's just like, just counting. And I think that was like counting beats. That was like the most painstaking thing to do. Like, so for 1 year, from the time I got up till I went to sleep, I was always counting beats. I was counting steps. I was processing music in my head. And after a while, it's like, I kind of developed like an internal metronome. Like I could just hear BPM, like 90 BPM, 130, 170, 125, 118, 105. Like I could hear, you could just put a record on it, I know. So, and that's how it became easier. Is like, it was those challenges of like a few years of, those growing pains, and they really paid off. So, and I really enjoy it, more than I did then, but because, yeah, I had to go through those challenges. So, yeah.
Take it back to the part where you said you had to be sleeping at night
Yeah.
and you're trying to make both sides work
Yeah.
and you're having like two lives and you're being ripped apart, like which one's which,
Yeah.
but you love both.
Yeah.
So I believe that it did happen for a reason, the
Mhm.
architecture thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I gotta go for that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Well, the next question is about like, what do you think about Hong Kong's approach to? Well, it can be the hip hop culture at one point, but you can also talk overall music because,
Yeah.
in my point of view, it's like hip hop kind of popped off when I was a little kid. I see a lot of people like wearing the old school popular hip hop outfits, and hip hop was being played quite a lot around. And I did know there were a lot of MCs that were in demand back in the day, according to learning it from Gold Mountain. Shout outs. And yeah, like, so what do you think has it turned into now? Because I think the market dropped and like it turned into capiche. Then we're just starting to hopefully pick it back up.
Yeah, I think there is a whirlwind that's happening because, like, when we started off doing hip hop, there was like a massive market for it in like 98, 99, 2000 when we had, these like clubs that were there, and everybody was into it, and like the beats they were more funky, they were a bit poppy. What's the other word for it is like, it made you move. But now what hip hop has done in this day and age is it's evolved into something different, like trap, or I don't like to say the word because I think it's kind of like disrespectful, but like mumble rap. I mean, no worries. I mean that's the phrase that it was coined. So no disrespect to anybody for me saying that, but I think hip hop had to evolve, and I mean, to be honest, in the beginning I didn't really appreciate it, but with all music styles or genres, like you have to kind of like listen. You kind of have to feel the soul of what the artist is putting down. So I may not agree with what they're doing, but or I may not like it, but if I listen to it and I can find some elements that I like, that I can make it personal, then yeah, I'll do it. So I would say now, because Hong Kong is quite fast-paced, so we have clubs that open 1 month, like here today, gone tomorrow, and we have a very limited selection of hip-hop clubs in Hong Kong. Rest in peace, Fly. Shout out to Volar, those places. And then it's just things are changing. Like the hip-hop is dwindling because you can't buy bottles and pop bottles to hip-hop in Hong Kong. But if you're somewhere else, yeah, vodka, Ace of Spades, or whatever. But it's just not a market for it in Hong Kong. But I think we are looking for something like an explosion to come back. Like we just need more dedicated clubs that play hip hop and R&B and reggae, and those people who actually like it to come out and support it. And yeah, so yeah. So it's just mainly the support, and I think it's going back. Next few years, hip hop will return again, will reemerge, bigger than what it was in the past few years.
To share my point of view though, since I emceed a lot with Mohit in certain locations,
Yeah.
what we notice is like, of course, first things first, if the radio channels don't play the songs that are in demand, they don't get paid. Everybody gotta eat.
Yeah.
So what's in the market, sadly not all times is what everybody would like, but you can't please everybody with the products you put out, right? Not everybody. Some will always like it. So what I'm thinking recently is like in Hong Kong, everybody's always like EDM, lots of EDM festivals. What happens is everybody follows the norm. Because right now I'm working in the wholesale industry, right? Same thing, like buyers would tell me, is it in the market? Because Hong Kong has a culture of following what's the trend.
Yeah.
So if you're working with the big guns, like let's say right now I'm selling toys. So if Toys R Us is doing well with it, the whole market will adjust to it.
Yeah.
So in Hong Kong, it's like, a lot of people would say, I want EDM sometimes when I'm in a gig with DJ Mojito. So we're like, he's like spinning that. It's like, but the people are like, they're okay.
Yeah.
They're not really that vibing to it. So we go like, let's start experimenting.
Yeah.
So you switch from EDM to EDM with singing to, oh, they're starting to come on the floor. You swap to pop. Now they're on the floor. And then they disappear again, trying to figure out what's going on, experiment for like, this was the funny thing, like we experimented for like over an hour in China Bar once.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, after 2 hours, it was so packed. Turns out it was hip hop. So I really believe it's what people follow as a trend to what's on the radio and what's popping that's getting views. But in general, as a DJ as well, like you said, or an artist, are you able to find out what people like? So maybe it's not just hiring somebody to play music. It's more like, can I bring what people want? Because I really believe that a lot told me I'm disappointed in this. Even ones I look up to, hip hop is dead in Hong Kong. There's no opportunity here. But I look at it as, if you can't even make it pop off where you are, how do I make it global, man? And I do know there is a demand, like what you said earlier. There's a few locations, but you just gotta keep pushing it
Yeah, you got to keep
because
plugging away.
because if everybody starts seeing, oh, there's opportunity, then everyone's gonna start to engage more in it. Everybody wants to see something happening.
Yeah.
And when that keeps picking up, it's gonna turn into that explosion you're talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well, that's how I feel. But yeah, let's go on to the next question. Yeah, what would you, if anything, would like to suggest or address to everyone else who are into the culture itself, or let's say music overall?
You mean to address?
Like if there's
regarding-
anything in your mind that you've been thinking for quite a while that you want to put out there, nothing offensive.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, there's not much that I want to address, but I mean, the DJ booth can be a lonely place, and you have so much time on your hands to like think, ponder life, and watch other people have fun or make other people have fun. So there's a lot of ideas, like how to get people to dance and like for instance, like I want to address one thing, you guys out there, when you come to the club and you're dancing to a song that you like, and our whole job as DJs is, I don't know the percentage because I may not get it right, but there's a percentage that we should introduce new music. So I don't know the percentage, but and you guys are, sorry, excuse me, I'm gonna say you guys, the dance floor, you're listening to a song that you like, and then all of a sudden, I thought, oh, this song is up and coming, I'm gonna play the song, mix it in nicely, and then you stop dancing. That is one thing that's, I find is a bit strange. I would say like popular clubs, you would get that in because you need to drive the dance floor with constant popular things. But we have like underground clubs like Triple X or Salon 10. You go there for the music, you go there for the vibe. The people playing music, and yeah, that's just one thing I wanted to address. I've always been thinking about. So, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, next question is like, who are the people you look up to? It could be on the DJ side of things and flexible to world-known heroes.
Well, on the DJ front, I personally liked Funkmaster Flex. I liked Tony Touch. There's another guy who I used to look up to when I was DJing in university. His name is T Love. T is quite cool. Like, these are all guys, they were turntablists in their own right, but they knew how to rock a party and just put things together, and it was dope. But it's like now all of that has like kind of died out. It's like if you do turntablism in a club, people just want to stand around and watch you. So it kind of destroys the vibe of going to the club to dance. So, yeah, those are people I look up to, in the DJ field. Yeah.
Okay. And throughout the process of going through the architecture route and music route, DJ side, like what were the, if there's anything, like the emotional barriers you had to go through, or in terms of like people you expected to support you? Like let's say there's some people that parents didn't support them, close friends didn't support them.
Yeah.
Like if there's anything, like how did you go through it and overcome it?
Well, to be honest, I had people support me, but like some of my greatest opposition
Or haters.
yeah, well, I won't go. Some of my greatest opposition came from like my grandparents, like actually my grandmother. She was like hating on me, but like those barriers, like I overcame because I didn't have to call home for money. Like I was using, my talent to like, create something for myself, and I was using it to stand on my own 2 feet, and I was able to, take care and support myself and not call home as much as as much as they would have liked me to ask for, support. So, yeah, I would say that's the biggest challenge is that, just like some family members, but you just have to like bear it and grin, walk right through it, you know, put it through your mind, especially like if you're DJing, you know, if you got like people who are being negative or hating on you, like it can affect the way you play, the way you deliver your story to the crowd through the music that you have compiled to play for them. So I would just say, you know, just bury it, let it go, keep it moving, keep it moving.
Cool. Well, in terms of like 2018 or 19, are there any plans or like anything you're working on that we don't know yet? Or?
No, well, I would like to. I mean, I produced like 30 tracks already, past like few years, and I haven't been doing so as much as of late. But I would love to get back into doing that. That's number one. Number two is I want to use this year to like repair some broken relationships. You know, like work-wise. Maybe I burnt a few bridges, but I'd like to try to repair those and, you know, just kind of smooth things out. And then after that, like, take it to the next level, you know? Yeah, take it to the next level.
Cool. Well, I guess that's about it.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Thanks for watching again. There's more to come.
Kinetic energy, we out.
Kinetic outcome.
Sorry, excuse me, kinetic outcome.